My name is King IV, and this is Introduction to Google Analytics. This is the fourth lesson in a 5-lesson set covering the Introduction to Google Analytics. And these videos are mainly for Introduction to Business Analytics students at the University of Waterloo. In today's session, we'll be covering the behavior views. So let's get started. So I'm going to log into Google Analytics. Since my information is cached, I'll automatically be accessing it. So I'm automatically at the audience view, but since we've already covered that in previous videos, I'm going to the behavior views. I am going to change the date range to 3 years since I don't get a ton of traffic to my website. So what you'll see here is what are the pages that people are visiting the most. So in this case, people are visiting majority of almost 28% of the page views are my work experience, followed by my AFM reflections, followed by my publications, and then there's a slight drop off to resumes, then etc. etc. So what you can do is actually drill into these and further understand what are people doing when they're accessing this web page. So you'll see that when they click on, well, it's pretty so there's 1001 unique page views. Average time spent on page is 16 seconds, so people must be just accessing the information and leaving. Entrances, bounce rate, exit rate, so how often do they actually exit. So you can always see here the number of, you can always see here the definition. So number of exits divided by the number of page views. So on average, people exit the website after this page 12.5% of the time. So that's actually not too bad. So we'll go back to all pages. We can drill down. So if you have an e-commerce site and there's a particular page that triggers a transaction or a location or contact us or accessing a certain story that's really important to your website, you can understand how people are accessing your data there. So you can also see how often, which sites are people exiting almost right away. So some of these are publications, so that's why there's such the funny name. But you also see that a lot of people are exiting my website after publications, after viewing my resume, after viewing my reference letters, etc. So that's all interesting. So if we go to content drill down, so we can drill down to the view again and see different dimensions that we can perform. So you can also add different dimensions where needed. In this case, the dimension's not set, so let's pick one that is set. So let's pick median. So you can see how this is broken down by various medians. So putting a combination of the behavior, so where are people accessing it, and then the acquisition, so how people are accessing it. And if you wanted to, you could throw in some audience, some other views if you wanted to. So review the landing pages. This just gives you an indication of where people are landing to. So you can see that I have 3,407 sessions, and that makes sense because every session must have a landing. And then the exit. So when are people exiting my website and at what percentage? So you don't really need to worry about site speed. I'm not sure that's overly important, but it may impact if you have a lot of e-commerce transactions, or if your website's particularly slow, then it might be an issue. So site search, obviously people are not searching very much on my website, but if they are on yours, that's a very interesting view to perform. Events, I don't have events set up, but if you did have events set up where if they're triggering a certain transaction or opening up a new page or performing a certain action, you can record that there as well, which is important. And then AdSense, I don't have AdSense, but it would be a useful view if you did have in-page analytics. So you can see it's very interactive type of data, and where are people clicking words afterwards. So lots of good information here to really understand what's happening with each of these pages. So that's the behavioral. So it understands what are people doing when they're on your website. Where are they entering? When are they exiting? How often are they exiting? If you have event triggers, that is unique. Are they doing searches within your site? The speed of your website, which it may be important, but it's probably more important for like internet companies. The content drill down, all the pages, behavioral flow. So let's take a look here. So very similar to the user flow, but this starts off with the landing page. So where do they start off with? You could also change that to, if we change this to medium. And this gives you an indication of, for example, when people organically search my website, so through search engines, where do they drop off? Where do they go to first, and how often do they drop off? So very interesting view, very similar to the user flow, but obviously still very interesting. And if you wanted to, you could always, in this case I don't really have any events or searches within my pages. You could also set up an email schedule, various views, PDF, Excels, all this great information which you can provide on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. So on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, doesn't really matter. So really interesting way of analyzing Google Analytics is using the behavior overview. So if you have any questions, please let me know.